So this is the last one from the little book of Stoicism, I hope. And yeah, that's nice. The intro wasn't working. Super. Yeah. Hello and welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics. Fucking podcast. I'm pretty fucking pumped to be here as always, even though it is quite an interesting day today. Like I'm super fucking not tired, but I'm a little exhausted, I'd say. I haven't been sleeping that well, the last night, and the other nights I haven't been sleeping enough, which is like, yeah, I can totally feel like, okay, the quality of your sleep totally matters. It's not about the hours you're just sleeping all the time. It is also about the quality you're having. You can't just sleep for 12 hours a night, but if the sleep that you're getting is not like rest, then the whole thing is just fucked up. So today I'm literally going to go through things that I went through yesterday as well, but yesterday's episode, even though I've edited it, which made it a little bit cooler, I'd say, and I made it a little bit more interesting because I was talking so monotonously. Never mind. It's been so shit. It's really been not the best episode I've ever had, and this is one of the reasons why I at least try today that I'm going to just talk a little bit more with passion and a little bit more interestingly, if you will. So we are going ahead with the real life applications. I do think this is quite the thing, or quite the part why I've stopped yesterday, or I've gone through I think one or two of them, because I thought like, okay, I want to go through the whole thing just this episode, but later on I just decided to actually end the episode because it was like it didn't feel great, and it really didn't feel great, also in terms of me not being able to speak as loudly as I want to or as passionately as I want to, because everybody was sleeping and I do not really want to wake up everyone. This is just shit as well. So I literally decided to end the episode, and yeah, this is where I'm going to start today. I do hope, by the way, I really hope that I haven't been. I think I've stopped there. It should be quite accurate, I guess. So the real life application, by the way, if I haven't mentioned it, this episode, no matter if you're just watching it as the podcast or if you're watching it as the YouTube video, there are two things. Like, there's the YouTube video and there's the podcast. Most of the time, so quite. I forgot to actually upload the podcast, so the second episode of the podcast yesterday. Gonna do that afterwards. But there's actually two ways you can actually consume my shit. The first one is, using the podcast, which is totally great if you're on the go, and if you want to get just some information, inspiration, or motivation while you're doing something else, whether it be just driving the car or just, walking around in your city or something like this, I think it's totally great, and I've been really enjoying these podcasts in general pretty much because, you can consume and get a lot of information on the go, which is totally great. And it's also great just, it's also quite great in terms of, okay, maybe you're not willing to listen to music, that time because you do not have the proper music there or something like this. And then you can just, go through a podcast episode, and most of the times they are pretty long. So, you gotta have just a lot of thing or just a long period of consumption there. And the other hand is just the YouTube video, where the kind of advantage is that you actually see me, which might be great, and the other advantage might be that you can already or also read along with me, which could be great because sometimes I'm not actually pronouncing everything that right or that accurately, and I'm also able to show just certain things like, some pictures that I'm just getting into or some other things. So all the things, so the podcast, all my other social media, platforms and the YouTube is down in the description if you're on the YouTube video, and also down in the episode description if you are on the podcast. Actually, that podcast. But yeah, let's go ahead with the real life applications from the book, the little book of Stoicism from Jonas Salzgeber. So the little book of Stoicism is all about practical applications. And this is actually something that I unfortunately haven't gotten out of the summary. I kind of really feel like that the summary was a little too short, and the more I'm going through just so long episodes and so long book summaries like on the alanchang.com websites, the more I feel like I'm just somehow missing out something on those shorter summaries. And it's there are advantages and disadvantages, and the definitely one of the disadvantages is that they're not as just accurate, or not as just you do not get as much information out of them as from either the real book or just a longer summary. And this is something that I've totally just felt with this summary, because they talk about practical applications, but as I know, there weren't much in the summary, which is quite unfortunate. If you then also kind of point out that the little book of Stoicism is all about practical applications, and you've gotten like 2-3 of them, and the rest is quite a lot of theoretical stuff, or maybe I just haven't seen it. This could also be the case. So enjoy things in life without becoming materialistic. Salzgeber says that Stoicism is about enjoying the beautiful things that life has to offer without clinging to them. And I love that. This idea of loving and enjoying life, including material aspects of it, but without descending into an hedonistic treadmill of consumerism, is a concept I hold dear. It totally makes sense for me, because one point of it actually is that this materialistic stuff won't make you just as happy as experiences. This is something that I think read in an ideas.ted.com article, or it was actually a book summary. Well, I do think it was more like a book summary, and I quite found it pretty interesting that they just pointed it out, even though it's quite something that's pretty known, like that having 7 cars and buying new materialistic shit every day and whatever won't make you happy. This is what a lot of people know. For sure, just treating yourself with some, with a new car or with some good food, even though, this could also be an experience of actually eating the food. It is a little bit like, the line or the edge between just consumerism and non-consumerism or materialistic stuff and experiences is pretty blurry, I have to say, because it's also the same thing with cars. If you're buying a car, you also have the experience of kind of driving it. So it's quite tough to decide what a experience is and what just materialistic bullshit is. But something that's totally clear is that if you buy materialistic shit, it won't make you happy. But the thing with, for example, trips or traveling in general is that they will make you happy because it's an experience. And for sure, you can do the same exact trip like just 4 or 5 times just each year, or 4 or 5 years just in a row. You can totally do this, and I think it won't get that boring. Like, for sure, just being in the same spot for 10 years or something, or 10 years in a row might be not that interesting in the long term, but I guess I really feel like, that this makes sense, that, the experiences you are getting through the traveling, through just other things you're doing, activities, like in general. I think about sports, maybe you're just climbing or something. This is also an experience, besides the whole fact that, sports itself will make you happy because it's somehow just, by nature like this, through all these hormones or endorphins, you're just, kind of, it's not absorbing, but you're spreading it in your body. Something, there are certain endorphins like serotonin, and I think actually there are hormones. So there's serotonin, endorphins. and other ones, and they all make you happy. I think I've been talking about it, or there is actually a post on my Instagram on this, like the Instagram you're seeing there. So this is my name, Walch Christopher, and I'm putting out 10 posts today to actually just get in the advertisement for myself. Even though it's pretty fucking big, let's make it a little smaller. I don't know why it's gotten that big, to be honest. This is nice. Some of this is nice, even though I think you can't see that much. But yeah, just posting some self-development stuff, basically the same exact things as I'm pointing out here. The only difference is that this is quite a shorter version of it. So the posts are quite shorter and quite not that in detail than the episodes. And this is also one of the reasons why I deeply love these long format or long form videos and or podcast episodes, because there's so much I can talk about. It is just amazing. It is just really fucking great, because I can take the time to actually talk about one fucking paragraph for fucking 10 minutes quite. So, but yeah. De-link happiness from external circumstances. A crucial tenet of Stoicism is that of not allowing external circumstances, of dedicating your moods, or our moods, happiness and mental states. A real power of strength, as the author puts it. And it's totally true. And it's been the basic thing we've been talking about the last episode, so yesterday's episode. It was just, all around quite, because I really took the time to actually talk about it, why you should really have the happiness inside of yours. And not really being kind of, just losing the word. Just need a fucking word. Never mind. So, addiction. No, it's not. But the thing is, if you really just have to have external factors to be happy, this is then fucked up. Because if these external factors go away, then your whole fucking happiness is fucked. Like, you won't be happy any longer only because there is no certain person that makes you happy. Which is, I think, totally something that will be the case quite often. Like, we are in relationships, whether it be with just, a girlfriend or boyfriend, or just friends and family and whatsoever. And for me, at least, these play a really big part in me being happy, actually. And it is something that shouldn't be the case. Like, for sure, being around people and something like this is just by nature making you happy, because we are totally animals, quote unquote, that just have to be in groups. Like, I think, this is just my point of view and something that I quite assume and think about. I kind of think like we've never been just intended to live alone. In the early stage of our humankind, I think would have died if we would have been alone. Like, just, there were so many predators and there were so many fucking dangerous other human beings. I think we've gotten killed just pretty quickly if we were alone. Even though there for sure might have been some people that were alone, and just you have to be alone to actually kind of get into a group. And I think there's a lot of factors in there. But it's just really fucked up. Like, if you're really just having to have some external prices or circumstances or people or whatever it will be to actually be happy, it's really fucked up. And therefore you should really have something, or really should just get into this mindset or perspective that you can also be happy alone. Like, if you do not have anything, I do hope that you just get what I actually mean. Everything's training, and this is particularly true. So I love the idea of looking at life as a big training. It helps develop a growth mindset, lowers the pressure, improves your performance, and finally, it increases your ability to learn from your mistakes. So everything. By the way, I really love these kind of sayings that you should just view your life in a certain way. Ooh. I nearly just threw up into my fucking mouth, and this would have been just really fucking disgusting. Never mind. I really like this idea. I really love this idea, as the author already says, and he also just seems to love it. I kind of, the thing is, if you're just thinking about it as like, okay, everything that I'm doing is quite just a training. It's really quite not, I don't want to say real, it's just a training, and it's just an opportunity for you to actually learn something. I do think this just takes a lot of pressure off your shoulders, or off you in general, because there is nothing to fear about. There's really nothing to fear, and no matter you're making a mistake or not, you're still gonna be learning. Like, this is generally something that a lot of people in the self-development space and area, whatever you want to talk about, are pretty much spreading that. There are not such things as mistakes or failures. You only learn quite, which I think is a great saying, because, yeah, I know a lot of people are feared, and for me it actually makes sense to actually make mistakes or just fail sometimes. I think a big part of this, just our fear of actually failing and just losing and whatsoever, a big part of it is actually our school system. Like, the thing with this that when we fail, or when we do something the wrong way, or when we do something in not such a good way, we will somehow get punished by having a bad mark. And this just tells you that, you're making a mistake, this is bad. Somehow. I do not know how you're feeling about it. It would be just pretty interesting. Just please comment down below if you want to, what you're thinking about it. Do you think like, okay, if you're making a mistake in school, it automatically is like, okay, you're shit, or this was a mistake and this is bad? Or do you also feel like, because this is also something that I've just been thinking about, that it just shows you, okay, you're not good at this, and not something like so negative. I don't know. I do think that also the teachers just play a big role in that, or on that, or whatever it will be. But yeah, I really like this saying. I really like to think about life as a big training. Yeah, I just like it. Oh my fucking god. I'm actually having no problems. I'm not having any fucking problems. By the way, hope that the audio is good today. Don't know if I'm just too far away. Actually, we have a pretty long way to go. I'm just really kind of wasting my time with 20% of the whole thing. But yeah, so the little book of Stoicism, and there's going to be some quotes now. The little book of Stoicism, I think and hope that it is Stoicism, I don't actually know, has a plethora of awesome ideas and great quotes. These are some of the quotes I like the most. On going after truth, not dogmas. Oh, I think... So the first one is, on going after truth and not dogmas. Zeno, founder of Stoicism, is our friend. But truth is an even greater friend. What is Zeno? Zeno is a philosopher from the 5th century, a member of the Eleatic school. He defended Parmenides' theories by formulating paradoxes which, seems to be a philosopher. So Zeno or whatever he's called, the founder of Stoicism, is our friend. I think it's should be a spelling mistake, I guess. But truth is an even greater friend. Yeah, it totally makes sense. Like, just be truthful to yourself. Something that I've totally spread throughout the whole entire summary of the little book of Stoicism, or Stoicism. Is it Stoicism? Yeah. So on Stoicism as a philosophy for life. Just as there is no use in medical study unless it leads to the health of the human body, so there is no use to a philosophical doctrine unless it leads to the virtue of the human soul. So it's just practically like kind of praising Stoicism, like, okay, Stoicism wouldn't be there if it wouldn't just kind of lead to having a great human soul, or something like this. So on focusing on process more than on results, this also reminds me of the role of luck and chance in life, as in Fooled by Randomness and The Black Swan. Black Swan, by the way, is one of the books that has been rated the worst, I think, on the powermoves.com website, which is basically the website that I'm on right now. But let's see what the quote says. So the wise man looks to the purpose of all actions, not their consequences. Beginning are in our power, but fortune judges the outcome, and I do not grant her a verdict upon me. I hope you have understood it, because I haven't. On starting on your journey, or your Stoic journey, how long are you going to wait before you demand the best of yourself? Pretty great saying. Like, it's really like just giving you a kick, I think. Kick in the fucking ass. Never mind. So there were a few passages that made me chuckle. For example, the idea of Stoicism is finding its way back into the lives of ordinary people like you and me. No offense. Is finding its way back into the lives of ordinary people. Is it about the ordinary? Yeah, never mind. I don't quite get it. On freedom, materialism, and happiness. You don't need more and more stuff. You need less and you'll be freer. It is actually something that I've been encountering somehow through the founder of CD Baby, who was on a podcast with Tim Ferriss, and his last name was something like Silvers. His first name something with something Derek Silvers or something like this. I think it was actually. I don't remember. But he's also sad because he has just, put out a few rules and a few kind of sayings that you should actually kind of act on. And one of them was actually having less stuff because you're freer, which is also the same exact thing with renting, because renting also seems to be like good in terms of actually you being able to just move away whenever you want to. Most of the time. I don't know how the contracts are in your country. In mine, I think there is maybe somehow like a span you have to be in it, or a span you have to just, I don't know, if you can always just move out and move to another place and whatsoever. And finally, true wealth lies in wanting less. Great one. The cons of the book. Not fully agree on forgiving and kindness. Obey, love, and wholeheartedly agree with 98% of what the author and Stoicism profess, and that 2% there is what, in my opinion, is a bit too much of a live and let live, or water off a duck's back type of attitude. I don't know the second saying actually. And the idea of not fighting back when you're treated meanly is one that I respect and that has a place in life. However, I see pushing back on both means on menace and on the assholes of this life, not just something you do for yourself, but something you do for the world at large as well. That's one of the founding credo of this website. But then again, I write on a website called The Power Moves. I kind of understand what he's saying. Basically, if you haven't understood it, because I've just truly read it, quite shitty. It is really the thing, like the book actually is like, and this was also something that I quite then was thinking about it also during the episode, but I have said nothing because I don't know, and which is basically that he suggested you should just do your shit and not care about anybody else, and no matter how bad they treat you or something like this. There was something about this. I don't remember fully, but I know there was something, and I don't know. It's quite difficult to say. So, what do you say? Would be fucking interesting. Put it down in the comments or DM me or something else. Some repetitions sometimes. The author says that the story of Hercules bears repeating. I'm more the type of reader who likes streamlined texts with no repetitions and whatsoever. So at times I thought the book could have been condensed a bit further, but this is a con which you will find in most of my book reviews, and the Little Book of Stoicism is well within reason, especially if you consider the vast amount of wisdom it's packed in what's, after all, still a small package. Maybe just have a look at how long it actually is afterwards. But let's go through the pros. So I thoroughly enjoyed the Little Book of Stoicism, and I think these are some of the biggest pros. Kel powered of great mindset. There is a crazy high amount of concentrated life-changing wisdom here. Wonderful overview of Stoicism. If you want to get an overview of Stoicism from its history to its most life-changing ideas, this is your book. Simple and practical, Salzgeber shows a knack for simplifying great ideas. The Little Book of Stoicism will clarify this wonderful philosophy even to complete beginners. Highly effective self-help manual. Finally, the Little Book of Stoicism is one of the best self-help manuals available. The author starts it off saying that school doesn't teach you how to live, and by the time he ends it, he does a great job of filling in for our educational system. Do believe in that he's actually been doing quite a great job with it. The review. I read the Little Book of Stoicism in one fell swoop on a long-haul flight back to Europe. And albeit sitting in cramped airplane is not most people's definition of a good time, especially when children sit nearby. Smiley face. This book made it a really enjoyable flight. For the sake of disclosure, I must say that this is probably the first review where I have been in touch with the author before reading the book, but I also feel confident that I can keep my impartiality in my reviews. I respect my readers, my website, and my values too much to do anything else but writing high quality reviews, and that includes no favoritism. Actually great that he points it out, and I think it's been quite a hard thing to do actually. If you, for example, also are just a friend of someone who wrote a book and then actually having to write a review or write somehow a summary of it, could be pretty fucked, if you actually do not enjoy the book. But I still think you're gonna be primed. Like, your head's gonna think differently about the book if you actually know the author, or if the author is actually your friend. I do think that subconsciously you will totally kinda put it into such a different space than it would have been if you maybe haven't known the author before. Unless you pretty force yourself. It could also, yeah. So if one were to ask me what they should read to understand Stoicism, I would preface my answer saying that I'm not the biggest expert in the field. And then the first book I would recommend them is the Little Book of Stoicism. The Little Book of Stoicism is a great read and I can highly recommend it. And this is actually it with the episode. Outro. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've learned something. I hope you've just taken something out of it. And I hope, I haven't been talking so monotonously like in the last episode. But yeah, I still wish you the best health, wealth, happiness, and success. I hope you're doing absolutely great. Thank you very much for watching the episode and or listening to it. And I'll see you the next time. And please remember yourself on how you gonna be remembered. So either in a good way or in a bad way. And you, in your lifetime, decide what they're gonna be. How they're gonna be remember you, what your legacy will be like. With that being said, I see you.